Welcome to Elden Ring, my walkthrough as an astrologer. I plan to beat every enemy, boss, and get all the items you can get without having to grind for them by killing enemies over and over and over for a 1% drop thing. But before we do that, of course, we have to have the character creation. So we're starting as an astrologer. This you can get later. I mean, seriously, you actually get it. It's a pickup. That may allow you to level up a little bit, but we're going to do that pretty soon after we start anyway. This is the best choice because it allows you to get one more flask. Flasks are important, your health and everything. That you can get later in the game, and they're not all that wonderful. That's good for making potions. You can throw fire, poison, that kind of thing. Once you get some recipe books. That's an okay start, although they're not that hard to get in the game. Well, seriously, none of this stuff is hard to get in the game. But the best thing to start with, I think, is the golden seed, because it gives you the opportunity the first time you come to a fire to be able to use it and get yourself an extra flask. As a squishy character, the more flasks you have, the better. And so we begin.
The fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Now, Queen Marika the Eternal is nowhere to be found. And in the night of the Black Knives, Godwyn the Golden was first to perish. Soon, Marika's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring. The mad taint of their newfound strength triggered the shattering. A war from which no lord arose. A war leading to abandonment by the greater will. Oh, rise now, ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all. Horalu, chieftain of the Badlands, the ever-brilliant Gold Mask. Fear, the deathbed companion, the loathsome dung-eater, and Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing. and one other, whom grace would again bless. A tarnished of no renown. Cross the fog to the lands between, to stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord.
That's the goal. But before we do that, yes, you get the ring and back of the gesture, another gesture. And bright blue is always important stuff. Well, usually. There are no enemies in this opening section. Real messages you want if you're in multiplayer mode or online, you know what I mean? The bloodstains just show you how somebody died. Probably falling off. Yep. Good for the bloodstain. This is where you get your butt handed to you by a superior foe. If you actually survive, then there's another exit that'll take you to a crumbling cliffside. You don't survive this section regardless. Ghostbusters. Put you in there. Unless you got strategy, like I said, you know, play your life now. So.
Don't worry, Torrent. Fortune is on her side. We found her here after all. One of her kind is sure to seek the Elden Ring. Even if it does violate the Golden Order.
now we are given our flasks. Later on, there's the ability to, you could choose how to allocate them at every fire. They added this because people kept missing the tutorial. Which I understand. I mean, seriously, who sees a hole in the floor and says, let's jump down there? Sometimes people sitting in chairs are important. That's, you can't get in there until you've explored a bit of the outside world. Anyway, so it's best to go for this edge because you don't lose health following that short distance. This is the tutorial, so everything tells you to do all these things until you have to do things you don't know. Side Grace is like Bonfire and Dark Souls, or another similar game. It fills everything. If you rest at it, it fills everything and respawns to army enemies. One of the wonderful things they added shortly after the release of the game was highlights. It lets you know when you rest at a bonfire, Side of Grace, if you have things to do. In this case, I have a golden seed. So we're going to add charge to a flask. For some Christmas tiers, you can allocate flash charges here. It's 4 and 1 at the moment. Well, since we are a mage caster, we want to try to level it out a little bit. Let's make it 3 and 2. That way, if we get damaged, then we can heal that. Actually, we're probably going to concentrate on spells, so let's go ahead with 2-3. Okay, so let's look at our starting equipment. We have, yes, the Astrologer staff. Scaling actually increases everything under attack power. Well, it increases everything under both sections, but mostly the stuff under attack power is increased by scaling. Sorcery scaling is the most important. You want your intelligence scaling, which is C, which it gets better. You can actually upgrade your items. We'll get into that later. And sometimes the scaling actually goes from C to B to A to S. There actually is a staff we will get not too long into the future, which starts with S scaling, which is pretty good. Anyway, so that's that. That's how you cast your spells. Short sword. Yeah. Somebody comes up on you. You know, you have that. This. Sometimes you hit people with your shield, but that's not the purpose of it. 70% physical negation, not too bad. And then, you know, this, that, and the other on the other stuff. The Astrologer's hood. Not a lot, percentage-wise, as far as damage negation. Immunity, robustness, focus, vitality, all have to do with effects that aren't covered by magic, fire, lightning, and holy. Like poison, rot, which is super poison, and frenzy, which is, if you play Bloodborne, you know what frenzy is. Vitality has to do with your, loosely to do with your health, and poise is how tough you are to knock over. You have 24 total poise, you look on the far right. robe is generally got the most on any set. We have 2 memory slots at this point. 2 spells that can be memorized, and we only have 2 spells at this point. We have Glintstone Pebble, which is what it sounds like, pretty much a magic rock. Glintstone Arc, which allows you to hit multiple enemies. And very useful. There are a couple dozen spells, I think, in the game. Right click on the right stick to lock on. Push the button. Not the right trigger, but the right button to cast your spell. Takes a little bit of the blue bar. And now, go. And this tells you all about. I don't think that screen pops up if you don't have sorceries and incantations. Since this character is planning on getting everything that's lying around. We're gonna have sorcery and incantations about the end of the game. But we're gonna concentrate on sorcery though. Get used to rolling. But running away generally can be more effective than rolling. This area is pretty much a testing ground for your chosen class. There's a not too terribly difficult boss at the end that tests whether you pick the right class or not. People with shields often take more than one spell cast to pick down. You can cast a spell and then lock on if you forgot to lock on. It just takes a second. If you forget to lock on, then you'll cast at your feet generally, sometimes straight forward. So. We're coming up on an enemy with bows and arrows. It's a good idea to hold your shield out because it will. You're going to take most of the. So you'll still take a little bit of HP damage, but not a lot. Drive 70% absorption physical. What it does take down is your endurance bar up there, stamina bar. Everything does. Attacking, casting spells, any of that. Some do. Not every armament has that. There are sometimes you'll see no skill. Push down the left stick switch over to melee weapons. Sneak attack is one of the more fun things you can do. You just gotta remember to push the right button. I accidentally healed myself, but I need to be healed. So now I have one flask of sword. Usually it's good to sneak up slowly. Sometimes I can hear you. Stronger enemies, that take longer, but good thing about glintstone pebble and spells like it is it's just like a machine gun. Unless they jump at you, you can easily tell. And the boss is coming up. At this point, this guy closes. You can bust him with your magic if you want, but definitely take note of the guard attack strategy that will be introduced the moment you step over the. That. So what you do, explain this a little bit better. Hold your shield up with your L2, L1, and then as soon as it bounces off, as soon as he bounces off, strong attack. Best way for a non-melee class to get to an encounter, but if it's just on closing, you don't really have a lot of choice. So it's best to make sure that you can actually survive it. Later on, you can get some armor that's not too terribly heavy and has a lot more two-digit numbers and the protection columns. And we are back where we began. So we can get over there, and I'll tell you later. I'll show you that when we get to the point. Nothing over there, but you pick this up. Get yourself a strength thing. If you're playing on PS5, you actually tilt the controller to do gestures. Otherwise, you have to go to the menu and pick it. You don't get iron crafted, you can tell. Slightly later, I'll show you. A tree like that usually means that there's a golden seed. Not here. but soon. So now let's open the door to the rest of the world. Don't worry about that too much. I know it's to take 2 stone sword keys to get in there, but also it is a little bit of poison, which will pretty much kill you instantly. This low level. You need to have some resistance to it, or at least enough HP to tank it. By the time you get 2 stone sword keys on your own, you probably be okay with being able to go in there, but that's more of a mid-game area. Corporate multiplayer. It's fun. It adds 50% health to your enemies' health points. So unless you really need it, it's best to use your skills, and you will get a bit of assistance automatically, and we'll cover that in the next episode. Let's go out to the world. You get a telescope not too far from here. It'll allow you to see things a little more detail. I honestly don't recall what castle it is. That's the first church you go to. There's a vendor there. That's the first castle you go to. That tower is the first tower that you'll encounter, which I'll cover more later as well. That guy, yeah. If there was ever a do not touch enemy, he's one. At least early on. Yes, it's pointing toward the castle. You don't want to go there right away. It's usually a good idea to rest it in grace if you need to, would have to. Simply finding it will simply finding grace will mark it, so if you die you pop back up there. Oh, whoops. Yeah, not that button there. That button. Some dungeons. Which means pretty much if you're underground in a cave or something. Yeah. Although once you beat the boss inside that cave, you can teleport it back out. Even before you get a map, you can kind of get an idea of the roads, you know. But if you see something in front of you, sometimes it'll mark on the map regardless. But there are map stones. And we'll get one. Next time that'll be one of our priorities. But first let's talk to this guy.
Oh yes. Tarnished, are we? Come to the lands between for the Elden Ring? Hmm? Of course you have. No shame in it. Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless. Without guidance, without the strength of runes, and without an invitation to the Round Table Hold, you are fated, it seems, to die in obscurity.
I'm not going to die in obscurity, but for the moment, we will not worry about dying in obscurity. Until next time, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, I have more. Over there on the left side of the screen, you will find a playlist for this game and a video that YouTube thinks you might like right below that. And also, I would appreciate any likes and subscribes or comments you'd wish to leave. Thanks again.